Today I'm going to give you a few tips on how you can do long tail keyword research. So whenever I'm using a keyword research tool, this one is called Ember SEO. You can use whatever tool you want. Some people are curious, so I pay $9.99 for this tool per month. That's $9.99. Whenever you do keyword research, when you have like a long tail keyword and you want to figure out what keywords are the best, typically, and I'll just put this out there, a lot of SEOs might look for long tail keywords because they feel like it could potentially either be lower competition or it could have higher intent. And when we reference intent, it means like specificity. So I don't mean intent like buyer intent or commercial intent or informational intent. That's not necessarily what I'm talking about. I'm talking about specificity of intent. So, for example, if somebody searches for best keyword tool as a keyword, they're just looking for the best generalized keyword we don't really know in what reference to. Maybe they're referring to YouTube. Maybe they're referring to Google. We would assume that it's Google, but we really don't know. It could be for Reddit. It could be for, it could be for a myriad of things, right? There's a lot of different search engine algorithms out there. It could be for Instagram hashtags. Nobody really knows, right? But if we add keywords to it, now intent goes up, intent of specificity. And whenever intent of specificity tends to go up, we have something that goes down along with it, which is what? Search volume. Because there's a lot more people who want to search for example, red hat versus red velvet hat for pimps, as an example. That's a bad example. I know it's kind of, harsh or crude, but you get the point. So anything that's more specific is going to have essentially more intent, but also it could potentially have lower search. Okay. And that's okay. As an SEO, we don't always have to complain about search volumes because Google has given us a massive gift, right? It's called adjacent keyword terms, and you rank for terms that are adjacent to whatever keyword you have. So anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these keywords. So the first thing you could do is you could filter by volume. All right. Now, if you look here, the very first keyword here is a little bit voluminous. The one that gets some more searches is probably going to be a little bit shorter in terms of keyword length or keyword tails, right? In this case, this one is a little bit longer, but it's not a direct representation of the main keyword, best SEO tools for small business, which is very similar to the best keyword tool, so that you can consider that potentially an adjacent keyword term, but that gets 33,000 searches a month, which is a ton. Keyword research tools, 27,000 searches a month. Free keyword research tool, 18,100, and so on and so forth, right? But if we click on this button right here that starts off with the slowest search volume, which is a recommendation, depending on how your list is, you can go through these and kind of go one by one. So like, for example, this keyword, find the best tags for YouTube. Top 10 keyword research tools. So these are a little bit longer tail than maybe like a 3 keyword long tail or tail. And you can look at them, and this is not like a general rule, or it's not like a requirement rather. But in general, the longer the keyword tails, the more the intent or the more the specificity, right? So for example, let's use that red hat example here. So I'm going to search for red hat. And we're going to get a lot of keywords that could potentially pop up for the word red hat. So I'm going to let it load for just a second. There we go. We got 597 keywords with a total search volume of 1.4 million. So here, let's go ahead and look at some long tail keywords. So we can scroll. Red hat Active Directory. So technically, this is double the amount of keywords in terms of tails than the word red hat was. Now, if we go to red hat and we actually switch the volume selection here, so the one with the most volume, red hat, 135,000 searches, right? Which is an adjacent keyword term technically to hat red. But they could mean different things, and therefore, they have different intentions behind them. However, you can see here, We wouldn't know that unless we have the informational and the commercial intent. So this is referring to a product for me to purchase. This could be referring to something else entirely. Hat red, I'm not really sure what that is. It could be something, on the dark web. It could be something related to it. It could be, who knows? But it's informational based intent, which is different. We can look at other things here. So Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So now we start seeing things about software. So now it kind of starts to make sense why the word hat red would search 165,000 search volume. And that could be worldwide search volume. It doesn't have to be just United States. And people might be searching it in English because it might have relation to Linux or some sort of software. I don't know anything about that, but I'm just using that as an example, right? And then we see here Red Hat Academy, Red Hat OpenShift. So I'm seeing that there's stuff that has to do with software here. No wonder why it's getting so much search volume. But if I search for things like, for example, let's say Velvet Red Hat, now it's going to switch up the amount of searches. Because remember, we had the word Red Hat, 135,000 searches a month. We search for Velvet Red Hat. That's going to change up the situation entirely. So you look here, 280 searches. So what we did was we added a single keyword or single tail to this, red velvet hat or cap or whatever, and it's getting somewhere in the hundreds, right, in terms of search volume. Much, much, much lower competition. Much less lower search volume, but still high competition. Why do you think it's high competition? Because there's other people who are targeting that exact keyword because they know that the need for this product exists. That's essentially what it is. So a little tip is look at the search volumes. And based on the search volumes, analyze the kind of long tail keyword you're going for. So we'll go back to the best keyword tool search again. And we search for that keyword and we look at it and we say, okay, well, I might want to write an article on something related to best keyword tool. But let me see how I can expand upon that to actually get people the best results when I actually post my article and Google wants to pick it up. So we have best keyword analysis tool. That's not bad, but we need a little more there, right? Best free keyword research tool. Well, we don't want to target the word free because we want to provide some sort of business for our company or for our agency or whatever, business we're running, right? And this goes the same for any other business out there. Google Rank Checker Online. Well, what if we combine the word Google Rank Checker with keyword tools? So we could do best Google Rank Checker keyword tool. And I'm sure it's somewhere here in this list. This list has 443 keywords. This is a long list. I'm not going to necessarily go through it now, but you get the point, right? And you can see all the different keywords. In fact, we could actually search for them. So I could search for best, and I could see every keyword with the word best. And then I could type in here best, let's say best rank, and then we see best rank tracker, best rank tracking tools, best ranking tracking tools software, best, and so on and so forth, right? But that's an idea. So, you can use this kind of information to find you that long tail keyword, be able to succeed. And more importantly, if the keyword is related, really closely related, you can still use that keyword even if the exact term doesn't show up. Why? Like I said, because Google has gifted us back in 2018 with the adjacent keyword search term algorithm update, which has helped SEOs dramatically gain more success. Really, it's like a snowball effect. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this video helps. Small, simple, short little video that can help you with your SEO. I'll talk to you soon. Peace out. Bye.